Dapper Laughs, it's nice to see you here tonight, supporting the Self-Esteem with their new book launch. What made you come out tonight? It's a bit rainy.
It is a bit rainy. It's proper moist. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I'll tell you what. The reason why I'm here, I've done some work with one of the girls that's in the trio, in the girl group. So I've done a bit of work with her on some other things, and do you know what? We spoke a lot about how they're focusing a lot on young men. I've got 2.5 million fans across my social media. She knows.
Keep growing.
But and you know, after a lot of the drama that I'd received at the beginning of the year, I kind of felt to myself that I have got a little bit of a responsibility to put some sort of a positive message across to young guys. And do you know what? I suffered from self-esteem issues when I was younger. It didn't involve like a lot of the common issues like self-harming or eating disorders. You know, for a lot of young lads, 13, 14, 15-year-old lads that are going through school, hanging around with a group of lads, self-esteem issues can be associated with trying to act hard, trying to show off, trying to cause trouble, and being one of the big boys, one of the hard boys. And I certainly went through that until I discovered performing arts, acting, stand-up comedy. And once I focused my energy into you know, being funny, you know, I didn't think I was very intelligent. I was dyslexic, so I used to mess around in class. You know what I mean? And once I focused it into something that I felt that I was good at, a lot of my life changed, you know. And if I can be part of this and help young lads feel the same way, then all for it.
Well, there was that suicide tweet a couple of months back. And, you know, they say 1 in 4 males are now committing suicide. And obviously, with all the pressure that was going on at the time, did you kind of feel at the brink of suicide? Or did you want to make a point to the media?
I'll tell you what, right? And the fact that I did want to make a point and the media still manipulated it really upset me, because I'll tell you something, right? What a lot of people don't realise is in the space of the 3 days where certain journalists decided they wanted to take me apart, and I lost the TV show, and then I lost the tour and everything like that. What a lot of people don't realise is at the same time, my old man got diagnosed with cancer. He had prostate cancer. So it was my choice to say to my management at the time, how can we stop this? That's why I done a Newsnight interview, and it's still carrying on after that, for the family. And my point, once my dad went into remission and he said, get back on it, carry on, you know, you've got a fan base, crack on. Once I got the confidence back to carry on and the media was still going, my point with that tweet was, at some point there may be a fatality, you know. I come up through social media, I wasn't taught how to be in the limelight. Do you know what I mean? And then when you get all of this pressure, if I hadn't have been through so much drama in the early years of my life, and that was the first time I'd experienced it, then who knows what would have happened? I've got strong people around me. So yeah, I would never say that I was there, that was an option for me, but I certainly was saying that the media needs to watch out, because it might take a fatality until people wake up and be like, look, just because you've got an opinion, you can't wreck someone's life over something, you know?
They say after a big loss tends to be a big comeback. So losing the TV show must have been quite heartbreaking for you. But moving on now, what is your comeback? Because I think a lot of people are asking that.
I mean, I'll tell you what, right? The TV show especially was a heartbreaking for me, because it's something I dreamed of since I was 17. I started doing stand-up comedy at 17. I wrote it, I co-owned it, produced it, got it on there all in the space of 6 months. So losing that was hard, certainly matured from it, learned there's certain things you shouldn't talk about, the media can grab it. Luckily, through all of it, my fan base saw the pain, stuck with me, come straight out the back of it, got great feedback from the stand-up comedy, produced a stand-up comedy DVD that's being launched in November. That was my dream, to get a DVD out there, stand-up comedy DVD. That's dropping in November. I've got another tour coming up, and a lot of TV opportunities that we're just trying to pick the right one, you know. I don't want to get myself in trouble again.
Is it hard when you do shows and some members of the audience might be booing or just come there purposely to kind of throw you off guard a bit?
You know what, without sounding, I don't know, big-headed, but I entertained nearly 15,000 people live last year and not once received a boo, not once received a negative comment, not once received a negative tweet, not once had someone say that they were offended. The only time someone got offended is when journalists decide that people should have been offended by my comedy. So I deal with hecklers the whole half hour on my show is I get into the audience, what do you do for a living, what do you do? And I deal with hecklers and I create comedy in front of the audience. That's the beauty of it. But I ain't never had no one go, that's too far, boo, we don't like that. But you know what? I love the banter, that's what I'm all about.
Have you kind of crossed the bridge now with different maybe rape groups and stuff? Because I can imagine a lot of them had a lot to say, and you've also had to put your point out there.
Of course, it was terrible for me because, you know, I don't want to go into it, but I come from a family that's had to deal with sexual violence and rape. Right, as a family, we've had to deal with that, and I went to the side of the stage after I was talking about how people were saying that my TV show promoted rape culture, and a girl at the side of the stage said, "Oh, my friend Lucy loves you, she's gagging for a rape." And I said, "What do you mean she's gagging for a rape?" And it was edited correctly and portrayed in the right way. So I've got to deal with my mum and people in my family saying, "Why would you say that?" When it wasn't said like that. But one thing I have certainly learned is these are subjects that I won't be talking about again because they can be taken out of context so easily. And also, I've learned a lot from it because I've received a lot of flack from a lot of people that have dealt with it, and it's made me think, do you know what, maybe I've got a responsibility now, if I've got such a big voice on social media, to talk to people about it and show how my comedy's not meant to depict that. I'm just trying to stereotype lad humour, but I digress.
And finally, don't you think you are the perfect candidate for Celebrity Big Brother? I know, I won't be surprised if I see your name on the list.
Well, do you know what, right? I'll cross that bridge when it's offered to me.
Thank you so much.
If I ever do go on it, vote for Dapper. Thank you.